This EV charger technically works, but nearly everything else about the installation is either wrong or really needs improving. Today's customer has moved into this house and the charger is already here, so they've just inherited it, but it doesn't really work for them. And from what I've seen of this installation, it's pretty historical. I think this was done quite a long time ago, and there's evidence and signs of that, which I'll show you now. The first thing is the cable that has been installed to the charger is not an EV Ultra, and it doesn't have a Cat 5, which means this charger here defaults to charging at 16 amps, which isn't good enough. The solution to this is to simply run a Cat 5 all the way round, but once I've shown you how the cable's been installed, you're going to see why I'm changing it.
Okay, let's have a look at what we're dealing with here. The way the cable's been installed is not the best. Like clipping it across this front door step just doesn't look good. The cable then continues around the side of the house and through the fence post, and then it's sort of hidden behind all of these pipes. Now here is where it gets really messy. Clipping a cable to the floor is just not how I would ever do this job. The cable then clips up the wall and into the house. This part of the install is fine.
Now where it's connected up into the consumer unit, that's where there are signs that whoever done this didn't really know what they were doing, or it's just a historical install and there wasn't the guidance out yet. And this is just the case sometimes.
Now here what you can see is the main cutout and several consumer units. There's the meter, and this board here, this is where the EV charger circuit is currently connected into. There are several issues here, but we're going to run through them a little bit later. Through that shelf is where the armoured comes into. It's going to be a bit difficult getting that out.
So the way I want to carry out this installation is to hide the cable around the back of the house, so it's not on show. We're changing the cable. We're not using those cable cleats. I'm going to be using D-line clips, which keeps the installation lovely and neat. I'm going to take you through the whole process. We're going to start by ripping this old one out. Oh, and the charger I'm installing today is a Simpson Partners. Untethered, Roysey Road, untethered, but with a charging hook. So guess what we're doing there?
The first thing I want to do is just check that that breaker is in fact for the EV charger. So now I'm heading back, and yeah, that's clearly the one. So now I can work on getting that cable out. Because the EV charger is on this shared RCD, even with the breaker off, I still risk tripping it out. So job number one is disconnect the cable completely, and look at this, my next surprise. The way that the armors have been earthed, let's just say it's not the best. Once I've got all the cables disconnected, I really need to try and get this shelf out of the way, because it's just going to be an absolute nightmare getting this cable out. And with the shelf out of the way, all I need to do is pull out the cable and cut the end off. Then I can pull it through the wall.
That is definitely not the way to earth an armoured cable.
These are called ratchet cutters, and I've had this pair for about 15 years, and the way it works is you open up the jaws and you close them, and it's got two blades, and as you pull the handles together it pinches the blades together, cutting the gland off.
Let's get this install ripped out.
It's a fairly long cable run, and there are a lot of cleats that I need to unscrew.
Right, I'm going to cut this cable down just to make it easier to pull out of everywhere. See if we can get it out of the wall.
Out with the ratchet cutters again. There is another reason why I'm cutting this cable down in lengths, just to make it easier to chuck in the back of the van.
Oh, yes, there we go. First bit out.
Not all of it was going to come out so easily though.
Oh, that's proper wedged behind that pipe. Oh, right, I'm going to have to cut it there.
And now that I've got that bit out, I can start unclipping the cable around the front of the house and finally remove that cable from the front step that my customers hated from the day he's moved in his house. As we go through the job, we're going to unveil more secrets about how this installation even came about.
I think from what he said, the guy who lived there, I think it was like some sort of cheap job that was done as part of his work, like car allowance.
Our work scheme.
Yeah.
That's just quite a common story.
Have a tea or coffee or anything?
I'd love a tea if that's all right.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd love one.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Lost my drill. So there you have it. Apparently the guy who used to live here said that this was installed on one of those workplace grant schemes. So a super cheap install. Hiya, dog walker. Probably wondering why I'm chatting to myself. So with those workplace charging schemes, you know, the job just gets put in and that's it. You don't really get to choose what you have or what you do or how it's done. It's a matter of you get your quote, it goes in, and there you go. Like, what do you expect? So if you want like a really good install done, one how you want it done and the charger that you want, you better give me a call. As long as you're not too far away from me. I'm based like Portsmouth way. I think I'm going to crack open this whisker box and see how they've connected that up. I'm quite interested to see how that's been done. I'm really not here to criticise anyone. I can see a Sparky's done this. I think. I'm not sure why he done the banjo the way he done it though. Did you know that Traderfy now makes protein shakes? Well, if you didn't, it's probably because they don't. But what they do make is great admin software for tradies. I've been using Traderfy now for over 6 years. And if your life's as hectic as mine is, you're definitely going to need this. And it's not just for sparks, it's for plumbers too. And all the other trades. You can do your invoicing, your quoting, your scheduling, the whole lot, all on this software. And frankly, I know that none of us have time for any of this really, but with this all in one place, it is going to streamline your business. So give it a go now with my promo code SOTA30. And before you do that, you can get a 2-week free trial, no bank details required. And once you've done it, I guarantee you're going to sign up. Traderfy, give it a go.
Oh well, let's have a look inside this junction box then. And the connections themselves are fine. But have you noticed that there's 2 cables there, that black and grey cable? They are supposed to be connected to the CT clamp which goes around the meter tails. All they had to do was run a Cat 5 to this point, which simply wasn't done. Unfortunately, because of this charger now only charges at 16 amps, which is fine if you've got a hybrid, I guess. But like I said earlier, I'm really not here to slate someone else's work. I'm here to give my customer the best install I possibly can.
This guy didn't like using screws, jeez. Look, only 1 screw in the old whisker box. On the holster, 1 screw there. 1 screw there. Couldn't be bothered. That's the workplace charging scheme for you.
Now I know that these ohms, they have 3 screws, 1 on the top and 1 either side. Now looking at where that charger is situated, I very much doubt that he got that screw in the side of the charger closest to the wall.
How much do you want to bet there's not a screw in the other side?
And there you go, he clearly didn't have the tool for the job on this occasion. Off with the mounting plate and then we have a nice fresh start.
There we go. That's it, it's all out. Now that I've got a clean slate, I can actually do this properly.
As you've probably seen in my previous videos, I don't like to blow the brickwork out when I drill a hole through the wall. So there's a couple of ways I do this. In this situation, the garage wall and the wall to the house are slightly offset, so I need to drill a small pilot bit through the wall in order just to make sure that I'm drilling through in the right place. But I'm drilling through the course, that way I won't blow any brickwork. Now let's go and see where that's ended up. And as you can see, through the course there, absolutely perfect. No damage to that brickwork, especially when I put my 28mm hole through the wall also. Using a core hole drill bit takes an awful lot longer to drill these holes through these walls, but it's worth it. You get a cleaner finish and you're guaranteed that the blockwork won't be blown as long as you don't do it on hammer. And it looks like these 2 snails have found a new home. You're welcome to it.
Next job is to fix all of my D-line clips, which are these, much nicer than those cable. Let me get one. Much nicer than these. It gives a nicer finish, just wraps around the cable nice and clean. Quite a lot more money than one of these though, but if you want something that looks half decent, pay the extra. I'm gonna fly around, try and keep as dry as I can with the spit nail gun, load everything up, bish bash bosh, let's get it done.
With the D-line clips, I'm using 27mm nails. I'm fixing roughly every brick and a half, and I'm doing my absolute best not to trample this flower bed too much.
I'm completely soaked. Get in there though. And if you're trying to call me and I don't answer, it's probably because of this. I recently had someone who inquired with me through YouTube leave me a 2-star review on Google. I didn't even do the work for them, but they had 2 jobs, both were miles away from me. And I've had a lot going on in my personal life. And I didn't reply to his emails, just missed them, left me a 2-star review on Google. I don't think you realise how damaging that is to a business when I didn't even do the work for you. It's completely unfair. I'm only one man, I'm trying to do the best I can. So thank you for taking my 5-star rating for people who I have done work for to not a 5-star anymore, didn't even work for you. Cheers. And my plan is just to follow the old line up. So I've got wall plugs marking that route for me. Next I've got to pull in the cable, but I'm going to do it in a certain way. And I'll show you why in just a minute. Brand new drum of Doncaster Cables EV Ultra. But I'm not pulling this in from inside the garage. Here's why.
If I pull the cable through the hole that I drilled, the entire cable is going to get scuffed. I'm going to leave that bit till the last. That way the cable that goes all the way around the house will be nice and clean. Zero grazes.
Before I pull this cable round, I brought some tape with me, and I'm going to tape up a load of this cable because I'm going to be dragging it behind all those bushes. It's going to be dragged along the floor, and I don't want all the cable scuffed up. So I'm just going to take a bit of time, waste a bit of tape, protect the cable, give it a nicer finish, because that's what people want at the end of the day. And I'll just take it off at the other end. No big deal.
What I'd really like is a sleeve to put over the end of the cable. So if anyone has anything like that, let me know.
And I'm going to strip off at least that inside the house. So that bit doesn't matter.
Now it's time to finally pull the cable around the back of the house rather than the front. And as you'll see a little bit later on, the little bit of extra effort that I put into this really makes all the difference. You'll barely be able to see any of this cable at all. These are all the little tricks that you get from people who really care, but you never get to see it. And this is the difference between a DIYer and a proper tradesman.
My D-line clip came out of this one that the nail wasn't secure enough. So what you get in the box of these D-line clips is you get these like concrete self-tapping nails, screws. So you just drill like a little 5mm hole, and then hopefully that'll secure it.
Which it did absolutely lovely. There is no way I want to call back because this cable was coming off the wall. Now all I have to do is pull off the rest of the cable off the drum and poke it through to the garage, but because I've done that 28mm hole, the cable doesn't really scuff too badly, which I'm super pleased about. Now to finish off with the D-line clips, and then I'm going to take a wipe and I'm just going to wipe down the cable before I fix it back into the clips. It just gives a nicer finish.
I've added to my 12-volt Bosch collection. Bought this little torch. I can see me spending a lot of money on this Bosch 12-volt gear. And I'm going to review the whole lot and just keep you up to date with how I'm finding it. Because I reckon I can get rid of all of my 18-volt gear.
Next it's time to work on the consumer unit because this EV charger needs some power. This is the Proteus consumer unit that I like using. It's a slightly smaller board than I usually use, but I'm limited to the room that I have. And I'm just trying to decide on the best place to put it. I need to drill 3 holes in this consumer unit. One is for the meter tails, another one is for the EV Ultra, and the third one is for the Cat 5 cable to come out of the consumer unit to a whisker box to connect up my CT clamp. Which means this will be able to charge my customer's car at 7 kilowatts rather than the 3.6 kilowatts with the old charger. Now that's all drilled out, I need to drill 4 further holes to fix the consumer unit to the back of the cupboard because this is an IP65 consumer unit, which means it's completely sealed. I don't need an IP65 consumer unit in this case, but there's also nothing wrong with installing one. I'm also pre-wiring the meter tails inside this consumer unit because I know it's just going to be so difficult to do it inside that cupboard space. And once I've got that fixed, I can now install my 40 amp RTBO, which is bi-directional for the EV charger.
Now before I go any further, let's see if I can put this shelf back in.
It was a little bit of a faff, but it wasn't that bad. I'm actually coming back to this job to combine all of the other consumer units into one, except for the EV charger one that I'm installing now. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see a video on how I do this. Next it's time to get this EV Ultra in and connected up. Once I've stripped my cable back and I've nipped up the gland, I'm going to pass the Cat 5 cable through that other gland down the bottom, as you can see, ready for my CT connection. Next I'm going to just cut back my cables and stick ferrules on all of them. And there you have it. That is ready to go. Apart from the testing, I'm finished at this end. The weather's not getting any better, so I'm putting up the canopy to try and keep my tools and equipment as dry as possible.
Today's charger is the Simpson Partners, yay! And we've tried to match it with the front door, which is this lovely green colour. So let's see how well we got on with that colour match.
This is one of my favourite chargers to install, and I just love how it can be customisable, and there's so many variations to this. So if you're looking for a charger that's going to tie in with your property, maybe check Simpson Partners out because frankly it's a nice one.
That is a beautiful charger. Let's see how well it matches. It's not bad, it's not bad. Lovely combination. Jesus Christ.
That was a close one. In this little box you get your CT clamp and the glands, which is super useful. Not all companies supply this with their chargers. To get a cover off you need to undo 2 screws at the bottom and then the cover will simply slide off. The next stage is to remove these 2 brackets, one either side of the charger, and a final screw at the bottom, and then the cover will come off.
The charger's going back to where the other one was. Basically around there, which means I can go back entry into the garage with the cable. Much nicer than the previous installation. But I need to be careful with this because of the way that this garage is built.
Now if we look on the inside, we can see this like concrete pillar in the corner. It looks pretty structural. I don't really know what's in there or how it's built, but I don't really want to drill through it either. I also need to be very careful of this socket.
So if I'm going to centre this charger, it's going to fall somewhere about there. So that there is where the cable's got to come through the wall, which is like 200 mil. The other side, 200 falls right on this concrete column here. But I reckon if I drill at an angle, I can get through it. But I've also got to be aware of this steel conduit and this socket. So I need to avoid that. So, yeah.
While I ponder on this, I'm going to get the EV charger ready. I'm drilling a 25mm hole in the back and I'm going to be installing a 25mm black stuffing gland.
That is where the double socket is, so we need to go above it. So we've got 120 there. I put a mark where that double socket is, which is there. Centre of that is there. But I want my hole that I'm going to drill through on one of the courses. So we'll lift it a little bit. And that is my cable entry hole there.
Now there are some really clever ways of working out the angles to drill these holes in. If you want to learn that, go and check out Jordan at Artisan Electrics. He knows how to do that. Me, 20 years of doing it, I just know. But this time it was a little bit close for comfort. So I'm going to adjust the angle ever so slightly. And as you're going to see, we pop out exactly where I want it to go. Perfect. Now it's time to fix those final D-line clips, clean the cable, and we're finally getting somewhere.
Here's a little trick for you. I've got loads of this cable still here, and I don't want to drag it all through the hole because it's going to scuff the whole lot and then it writes it off. So the way to measure this, or a way to measure this anyway, is I've got myself a little bit of this earth cable, stick it through the hole, like so, and through the other side. I can see that there, and I want that should be absolutely fine there. So leave that there, through the other side. That's how my cable is going to lay. So I can bring that up like that, hold that there, pull that out, run that along my cable, and that is how much I need. Still need new cutters. Right, let's see if I got it right.
As expected, absolutely bang on. Back to the charger, and here I'm installing that 25mm stuffing gland that I mentioned earlier. But before I mount the charger, I'm going around and sealing up every hole that I made. This is the CT clamp that must be installed around the meter tails, and in this second little bag you get some stuffing glands but also some washers. These must be used to maintain an IP rating when you fix the charger back to the wall. There are just 3 fixing points, and once that's done it's time to cut the cable back and get ready for testing.
Let's put my coat back on here. It's getting soaked now. Whenever I'm working inside, nice and sunny. Outside, rain.
But before we get on to testing, I'm just going to connect up the CT there. It is dead easy to do this. It comes with a couple of little Wagos and you just plug it in. I got my dead testing done and I'm just getting this cover on. The time is running out here today and it's so wet. I just need to get this wrapped up now.
Finishing touches. Then I've got testing to do, obviously.
Now whenever you fit an EV charger, you do need to think about its surroundings. Like with the Omi, you couldn't get a screw in a side, but with the Simpson Partners there's fixing points just at the bottom. So in most scenarios, this is going to work for you. Now to finish off those CT connections, and I'm just tucking them in that little grey box I have there. Nice and neat. On with the cover, and now I need to try and put this kitchen back together. First of all, in with that shelf again. Got that done, then it's the first cupboard door, then the second. Bosh, job done.
This is what I mean about doing a job properly. It's a different charger, but the same job. Only this time, done properly.
Look at that charger, isn't it just absolutely lovely? I'm giving it a quick clean down and then we're going to look around the whole job and see how much better this looks. Firstly, you have that beautiful charger. We have no more cables clipped around the front step. No more cables clipped around the front of the house at all. The cable now runs around the back of the house, far more inconspicuous. Tucked away hidden behind these plants, but not clipped too low to prevent any risk of this cable getting damaged during any gardening.
Thank you for watching today. I really appreciate all your support, and don't forget, subscribe to my channel.